have a question for you. Do you think most people have made a financial decision that they ended up regretting? What do you think about that? I'll share with you my answer to that question in just a little bit. This episode is all about dealing with financial regret. I have an interesting story to share with you about this, so stick around. This all started with the garage sale. I was driving along one day, probably a Saturday, and I saw a sign for a neighborhood garage sale. So I figured, let me check it out. So I got out of my car, got to the first house, looked around, didn't see anything. Went to the second house, same thing, nothing. And then I got to the third house. In that driveway was just one table. And on that table was one item, a pair of cargo pants. Well, it just so happened that I had been looking for a particular kind of cargo pants. And I looked in stores and online, but could not find these anywhere. And here I am at a garage sale, and there's the pants I'm looking for. So I picked them up. Don't love the color, but the style is what I want, and these might actually fit me. Can't say for sure because I can't try them on, but it's a garage sale. I'm sure they'll be cheap. And the reason I was thinking that is the prior summer, my neighborhood had a garage sale, and we could not give away adult clothes. We had items for $1 that were practically brand new, no takers. Nobody wants to buy clothes they can't try on. So I asked the woman, how much do you want for these? They're $10. Well, I have to admit, I was a little surprised. And I'm thinking to myself, well, I don't really want to spend $10 on a pair of pants that don't fit me. But on the other hand, I've been having a hard time finding these pants, so it's worth it to take a little chance. Will you take $5 for these? These are new. I just took the tags off and decided I didn't like how they looked on me. I'm not surprised to hear you say that. They looked in excellent condition to me. So I like them. I just don't want to pay $10 for something that might not fit me. And then she said, I would rather drive these to the donation center and give them away than sell them for $5. Oh, okay. And walked away. Out of curiosity, later on, I looked up exactly how many miles it was from her house to the donation center that she referenced. It's 8 miles to get there. It takes about 20 minutes, local roads. So, she would rather spend 40 minutes of her time and put 16 miles of wear and tear on her vehicle rather than just sell these pants to someone in front of her. Now, I don't know about you, but I can't think of any tax deduction that would make it worth it to do that. So this did not make financial sense. But I have a feeling it made emotional sense to her because it fits under the economic concept of sunk cost fallacy. First, let's talk about sunk costs, and then we'll talk about the fallacy part. Sunk costs is when you've spent money on something and you can't get that money back. It is gone. It's sunk. Sunk cost fallacy is when we continue to invest in something, even if it doesn't make financial sense. In this case, the woman was going to spend more time and more money on a pair of pants that she was never going to wear. Now, I can't know exactly what she was thinking, but my guess is that she regretted buying the pants, and her way of salvaging that was to either get a certain amount of money for them at the garage sale or to donate them and feel good about doing that. In the beginning, I asked you, do you think most people have made a financial decision they ended up regretting? And my answer to that is, I have a feeling that there's some people out there who would say, I have no financial regrets. And then there's the rest of us. We might have financial regrets that are big or financial regrets that are small. And either way, those financial regrets can really wear us down. So let's talk a little bit more about financial regret and what we can do about it. First, let's talk about small financial regrets. I have one from fairly recently that I can tell you about. I normally don't wear a lot of makeup, but for being on camera, I decided I should buy some more makeup. So I went out, bought some new makeup, including a new mascara, and I liked how the mascara looked. But every time I wore it, my eyes got red and irritated. Ugh, they hurt so much. Yet despite that, I kept on wearing the mascara. I know, it's not too bright. But I think this is something a lot of us do. We buy something, doesn't quite work out how we planned, but we continue to use the item, or wear the item, or eat the item. This gets into the psychology of sunk cost fallacy, where we want to feel good about an investment we've made, and we don't want to be wasteful. But as I was putting together this talk, I had an aha moment. I realized I have fallen into the trap of sunk cost fallacy. So I want you to know, I did take that mascara and throw it out because I realized I can end up getting an eye infection, having to go to the eye doctor, spending what? Time and money, all because I'm not willing to acknowledge that this $20 mascara isn't working out. With small financial regrets, we might throw a little extra money, a little extra time at the problem. And for most of us, it doesn't hurt us to do that financially. If that woman at the garage sale did choose to drive all the way to the donation center and drop off those pants, I kind of doubt that her spending that extra gas money would hurt her long-term financially. So everyday ordinary financial regrets, usually not a big deal. It's the big financial regrets that can really hurt us long-term financially. There may be many areas that we can feel financial regret about, but there's two that I hear about quite a bit. One is with jobs, and the other is with business ventures. I want to share with you a little bit about what I hear, and some of this might hit home for you personally. First, let's talk about jobs. You were told, go to school, get a degree, and you will get, not a job, you will get a career doing something you're passionate about. So you did what you were told, spent a lot of money on that degree, a lot of time studying when maybe you would have liked to do something else, worked hard, got out, got your degree, and you couldn't get a job in your field. Or you did get a job, and it definitely wasn't what it was cracked up to be. Then there's job losses. You've spent so much time working hard in your field or at your company, going far beyond what was expected of you to gain expertise and to be valuable in your position. And one day, you're let go. Then there's business ventures where you've poured your heart and your soul and your time and your money into a business that you're passionate about. And despite all your efforts, it's not financially viable. With any financial regret, a lot of thoughts can come storming through our head. We might think things like, why did I spend so much time doing this? Why did I spend so much money? Why did I give so much of myself? Why didn't I choose to do something different? How come other people are succeeding but I'm not? What did I do wrong? What should I do now? The problem with that ruminating is it can freeze us in place, where we feel like the only way out is to spend more money and more time to make ourselves succeed. And the reason we think that is we are inundated with that idea. We're told, things not working out, go get a master's degree, get a PhD, get a license, get a certification, invest more money in your business. And you know what? It might be the right thing to do that. That might be the last push you need. Or it could be the very wrong thing to do. So how do we figure out what to do when we're in the very midst of grappling with financial regret so we can make a good decision? We need to evaluate things objectively instead of emotionally. So here's what you can do to pull yourself out of that emotional turmoil and move forward. First, write a list of questions for yourself. It may include things like, does it make sense for me to spend more money and more time on this investment? And be specific in your answers to that. Is there a way that I can salvage some of this investment? Perhaps I can use my education or my job experience in a different way. Is it time to close the door on this chapter of my life? And there may be other questions that you can think of to add to the list. Once you've finished your list, find someone you can trust and sit down and go over your answers to these questions. And the reason I say to sit down with someone rather than do it alone is there is something about talking about things out loud that helps us to gain clarity. And when you think about who you should sit down with, think about someone that only has your best interest at heart and is someone that you respect the way they go about making practical decisions. You definitely want to avoid getting input from anyone that would make money off of you spending more money. One important thing I want to share with you is this is not an easy thing to do. Dealing with regret is so hard. I have dealt with this throughout my life. And every time I dealt with it, I would have all these thoughts going through my head. I would be thinking, if I only did this, then this would have happened. If I had done this, then this would have happened. Oh, I should have done this, should have done that, da 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 da. And I would just make myself so stressed out. And I got tired of feeling that way. Maybe you know exactly what I mean. Maybe you're tired of feeling that way too. And one day I thought, you know what? I'm going to do things differently. Whenever I feel regret, I'm just going to stop myself, take a breath, and tell myself, this is just information. What can I learn from this? And then I would go and work through those questions. And I found when I did that over and over and over again, it got easier over time. And instead of going to that place of those swirling thoughts, my mind started more naturally going toward objectively evaluating what I should do next. Because whatever decision I made that didn't work out, it was already done, sunk cost, right? Need to move on, figure out what to do next. And one other thing I want to share with you is sometimes when we are holding on to regret, what we're really holding on to is a dream of how we wanted things to turn out, and we don't want to let that go. But part of life is about learning and changing and growing when things don't work out how we planned. I want to encourage you that you can work through regret and move forward. And it may be in a different direction than you ever imagined. As we head into the close, I have one final thought about financial regret that I want to leave you with. We may deal with regrets at many times throughout our life, and sometimes it may be easy to deal with those regrets, sometimes it may be more difficult. But always remember this: sunk costs do not have to sink you. Thanks for watching this episode on financial regret, and I hope it's given you some things to think about. One of the things that I think about when it comes to our emotions around money is a lot of times we don't talk about this, and it can end up with us feeling isolated. So I want to encourage you, if you have thoughts on financial regret, go ahead and add your thoughts in the comment section. You might have some aha moments you've had, some nuggets of wisdom, or some struggles you've been through. If you found this video useful, I hope you'll click the like button. And if you're not already a subscriber, I want to invite you to subscribe so you can see when I post new videos. Also, I have a private email list. I send an email out once I post a new video. It's running about once every 2 months right now. So if you want to get on that list, just send me an email to bellayoutube@bringitToBella.com, and you can write join email list in the subject line. Thanks so much for spending time with me today.